I'm Mike Ahern, and I'm about to go one-on-one with Indiana filmmaker Greg Malone.
After 4 decades of reporting the stories that shaped Indiana's history, now he's bringing you face-to-face with today's newsmakers. This is Mike Ahern, One-on-One.
In the movie business, that's what they call a tease. That's a clip from the movie Transformers, one of the films Hollywood is counting on to be a blockbuster this summer. But is there too much emphasis on such films? We'll talk to a man now who knows the business. His name is Greg Malone. Greg, welcome to One-on-One.
Thank you for having me.
You are the executive producer and founder of Road Pictures. Tell us about that.
We are a film and video production company based here in Indianapolis. We primarily do TV commercials and corporate videos and corporate work, documentaries, but have been in business a long time. And over my career, I've gotten the chance to work on movies and TV shows and all sorts of film and video projects.
Well, speaking of movies, you're the producer of Madison, a film that was
one of the many producers on Madison, but I worked on that for many months back in, we shot it in '99 and it premiered at Sundance in 2001 and at the Heartland Film Festival and was released later theatrically.
And that's the film about hydroplane racing down in Madison, Indiana.
Hydroplane racing in Madison, Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel, that's right, he was in that movie, yeah. Also, you chair the Indiana Film Commission, and we're talking about these blockbusters and the hundreds of millions of dollars they're going to be producing at the box office this summer. Why isn't Indiana in on any of that? I mean, we offer so few incentives to people.
Right. Well, you know, it's a good question. Transformers, of course, was mostly filmed in Chicago, and they took over big chunks of downtown Chicago for months at a time, much to the consternation of the locals, I've heard. You know, the incentives business is a difficult one. There has been a race by some states to offer really substantial incentives, and those that have offered them for an extended period of time have won big returns in some respects. But there's a lot of controversy about, you know, expenditures and return on investment.
Michigan, for example, has made something like $650 million off films.
But there's a big group of people up there who are wondering if it's really been worth the money. Have they really gotten their money's worth for their investment? They've put a lot of people to work. It's been great for the tourism and the economy up there in many respects, but the jury is out on to whether or not they really have gotten their money's worth. And in fact, the Michigan legislature this year put a cap on the number of credits that they'll allow to only $25 or $50 million, down from an unlimited amount before. And so that's going to have a substantial impact on their industry.
What kind of incentives does Indiana offer right now?
Indiana basically offers one incentive. It's a 15% tax credit, up to 15% tax credit on expenditures over $50,000 for some projects and $100,000 for feature films and television shows. The entity that's claiming the credit has to have a presence in Indiana for an extended period of time, and as a result, it's not really attractive to the big Hollywood filmmakers. It's really aimed more at the local filmmakers. Unfortunately, just the way the law is written right now, it has not gained the traction that those of us who are involved in its passage had hoped, and it has been used very little, and it is set to sunset at the end of the year. We're hoping that perhaps something can be done in the next legislative session that will work retroactively and will keep us in the game. It has had some impact, but not much.
Yeah, well, some sports films, obviously, Hoosiers and movies like that, Rudy, were shot in Indiana and seem to do very, very well. I mean, this state offers, I don't know what California offers, obviously, but this state does offer the Great Lakes, you've got the prairies, you've got the hills and caves of southern Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of variety here.
We have a lot of great locations, and you know, those films that you mentioned were made before the era of incentives, where Hollywood went where it wanted to, and now the incentives, unfortunately, drive a lot of script writing and storytelling. You know, one of the things that works against us, though, is that our proximity to Chicago with its huge crew base, and Indianapolis, by comparison, has a relatively small crew base. Very talented, lots of great people here, but it would be very difficult for us to staff a movie like Transformers with many local people in terms of the skills that a movie like that needs.
Yeah, we just showed Transformers here at the beginning. Tell us about that film. Is it opened yet?
I think it opens this weekend as we talk, which was right before the 4th of July.
Okay, and then the film is getting good reviews or mixed reviews?
I think the reviews are not out yet, since it hasn't officially opened yet. So I haven't noticed what it's doing.
One of many films based on, well, of course, action figures, but comic books.
Comic books.
Marvel, DC Comics are all just making a mint off this.
Yeah, they are. You know, that's really one of the major trends in movie making in Hollywood over the last few years is the advent and the continued popularity of these big comic book adaptations, and it's made more than a few people rich, I'm sure. It's very interesting.
Yeah. This looks like Green Lantern right here. What do you hear about that?
Well, my kids saw it, and they hated it.
Really?
They hated it. They walked out saying it was a waste of time and money. So there you go. I didn't avail myself of that opportunity.
Really, a waste of time and money. That's
yeah, coming from a 15-year-old,
from
a 15-year-old comic book geek and a 20-year-old comic book geek. That's saying a lot.
Another movie that's out soon, maybe out now, I don't know. Captain America.
Coming out soon. No advance word, but you know, looks like they blow a lot of things up in the trailers.
And again, that is another one based on
another comic book.
Another comic book.
Yeah.
Well, one you and I both saw, and is what I was charmed by it. I thought it was an excellent movie. It was Super 8. Tell us about that.
Well, Steven Spielberg was the executive producer, working with J.J. Abrams, of course, the creator of Lost.
Right.
And it has a lot of charm to it. It pays homage to E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Doesn't quite reach their level of artistry or storytelling, but it's still a pretty darn good movie.
Yeah, we're watching the kids here. They're making a Super 8 movie, and all of a sudden there's a train, I won't give the whole thing away, accident, which alters their lives and the lives of this entire town in West Virginia.
In Ohio. Our neighbors.
Oh, shot in Ohio then?
I'm not sure if it was shot in Ohio.
Okay.
Set in Ohio.
Oh, set in Ohio, okay. But this again is a Spielberg. You can see all the Spielberg influence all throughout, even, although he did not direct it.
Correct.
Yeah.
But he was very involved in the project.
Okay. We'll be back with Greg Malone, talk more about the movies and a couple sleepers out there right after this.